Hey guys, it's Oojiman, and finally, I'm actually back making videos. I know I made a few videos like, oh, I'm back, I'm making more videos again, but that never really materialized into anything. And if you want to know why, honestly, it's probably because I think I said it in my last video, but I feel like I really spoke about everything I could in terms of the theoretical components of learning a language. There's only so much stuff you can kind of say. I feel like once you made 10 videos max on how to actually learn Japanese or any language, it just gets to the point where it's if I'm going to just try and milk more videos just for the sake of making content, I'm just going to be repeating myself over and over again, and as well probably making the process a lot more intricate and complicated than it really needs to be. That masterclass series, the whole point of that was just to make a series so that I can talk about everything that you need to do to learn Japanese and all my ideas behind it, so that I don't even need to talk about it anymore. So since then, I think it's been 6-7 months, maybe 8 months since I made a proper video. But I was thinking I always thought in the back of my mind that I did want to at some point come back to this channel. I just didn't really know what to, talk about or what to make videos on. I thought I might come back in the form of MMA or something like that. I don't know. But I was thinking recently, probably the one thing I haven't done, and I don't know, I see all these other channels, right? They talk about, oh, do this, do that, the same way I do. And when I listen to it, I'm I feel like they're full of shit. And I feel like the way I did it and the way I explained is probably the best way to go about it. But the one thing that no one's really done, including myself, is actually go say learn a new language and test it. Because you see a lot of people, they talk shit oh, I did this to learn Japanese, this is the best way to do it. It's well, how the fuck do you know if something's the best way to do it if you've only done it once and you've done no sort of tests or anything to see if it works? And that's true about everything I say too. I try and base mine upon what I say, upon what I've seen other people do, what I've seen work for me and other people I've told to do these things to. Say someone comes to me for advice, if I'm do this, and then they do it and it works, and it just reaffirms to me that that's the best way to go about it. But I thought, just to kind of prove that this shit works, and I feel I'm quite confident that everything I say works better than what everyone else is talking about. So I thought something that'd be interesting to do is for me to go and pick another language, and just do that, say, for 3 months, just a short amount of time, because I don't really want to, I don't know, it might end up being longer depending on how I feel about it, but I thought I'd pick another language and just, because I'm already busy at the moment, I'm working close to full time, not full time because I'm still studying, I'm still doing the MMA, so I don't really want to be, overcrowding myself there. But, it's still busy, so I wake up, I'm doing my training, go work, train again, and just go straight to sleep. I don't have much spare time, right? And I feel like that's the case for a lot of people. A lot of people say oh, well, you'd say immerse this much per day, but, I'm busy, I got to work, I got to do shit. How the fuck am I supposed to do all this stuff you're talking about? And so I thought, well, I'm also in a similar situation at the moment where I'm quite busy. So I thought, well, why not then just take all the principles and all the things I've talked about and apply it to another language while I'm very busy, and we'll see how it goes. Who knows? Maybe it'll just not work and I'll be oh shit, sorry guys. Everything I said doesn't actually work. I'm sorry, my bad. But I'm quite confident that it will. So I thought, it's probably in the title. I don't know if I put it in the title, but I think I'm going to go with Korean. The reason for that is because it's quite similar to Japanese. I thought, I could probably get a decent way in it in 3 months, I reckon. And plus, a few years ago, I dabbled in Korean a little bit. I think I might have said that in videos somewhere on the Discord or something like that. But I learned maybe about 600, 700 words in it on my Anki. And since then, I haven't touched it. I just kind of stopped reviewing, stopped doing everything, kind of forgot everything except for real basic shit. And so the last week or so, I've gone through and restarted up that Anki, gone through and done all the reviews, failed 99% of them. And then I'm just got back onto that. But I thought from now on, next 3 months, I'm going to do Korean, and I'm going to be immersing in it how I did Japanese and how it's talked about in my videos. And we'll just kind of see where that takes me. I thought it'd just be an interesting experiment. At least people who watch me can see me try and do it for another language and see if it actually does anything. And I thought it'd be interesting. So far, what I've done is all I've done is just done a bit of reviews on those Anki cards. So I've got about 600 cards at the moment. I'm going to be tracking my progress, and I think every week, 2 weeks, something like that, I might put out a video and just talk about how the sort of journey is going and where I'm at. Maybe people who are also studying can relate to those videos, and we can get some good discussions going, some discourse. Maybe I'll learn from you guys. I'll give my insights as well onto what's going on. And I feel altogether it could be a a pretty interesting thing to do for me to go back and learn a new language so that I'm better able to connect with people who are currently learning languages. I feel like that probably is going to be quite a beneficial thing, because it's been quite a long time since I actually started learning Japanese. Like, how long's it been? Like 4 years, something, 4 or 5 years? I can't really remember fully. I think about 4 years. So it's like, yeah, I can remember what I did, but there's like a lot of times people ask me questions. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, I can't really remember exactly what I did at that time. So at least I can go back, do it again, and we'll see. I think that'll probably make it a lot easier for me to be able to give advice to other people and kind of like reaffirm some of the ideas I've have about language learning, or, disregard some of them. I might disprove myself in a lot of ways. We'll see what happens. But yeah, for now, all I've done is the Anki cards and stuff. But here I'll lay out my sort of plan of like what I'm planning on doing, and, based upon the sort of advice and stuff I've given in my other videos. So the idea for me is that because I'm busy, like, I don't really have a lot of time to just be sitting down watching videos and stuff every day. Like with Japanese, I did that like quite a lot. And then in my masterclass videos, I kind of talked about how you could modify that to fit it into a busy schedule. So this time I'm actually going to try and fit it into a really busy schedule, and we'll see how that goes. But the idea is every day I'll try and add 10, 20 Anki cards. That's my goal. Like, I think that's a pretty, modest goal. 10, 20 is pretty easy to add. Like with Japanese, I was on 60 at a point. So I think 10, 20 is, pretty easy to do regardless of like how busy you get. So I add, 10 and 20 cards every day, do the reviews and all that. And that'll probably be it for Anki. I'll take the sentences from YouTube, online, wherever. Like I've talked about, I'm not really going to be going and using books and shit because I don't really have any interest in that. So it'll be from YouTube video titles, maybe like subtitles on YouTube videos, and then, websites and shit, Twitter, whatever, stuff like that. That's where I'll be getting all the sentences from. And then in regards to the immersion that I'm going to be doing, the plan for me is like, because I don't have a lot of like time just specifically to sit down for good like 3-4 hours and just immerse, I'm going to have to break it up throughout the day, right? And I thought the easiest way to do that, right, is not like, people call it passive immersion, like I know, whatever, but like, just be like walking somewhere and have earphones in, listening to podcasts or YouTube videos or whatever, something I've downloaded, I'm just listening to. And a lot of people consider that passive immersion because you're doing other shit like walking around doing whatever, but it's pretty much active if you're sitting there listening to it while it's in your ears, right? You're actively immersing it, so it's active immersion, right? So I feel like during the breaks, like, by the way, if any of this like terminology and stuff doesn't make sense to you, probably go watch my masterclass series first, because this, if someone's coming into my channel from this video, it might be a little bit difficult, like if they've got no experience in like AJAT or like immersion learning to like fully understand all the lingo and shit I'm using. So maybe that'd be a good idea to watch first, the masterclass series I did. But otherwise, yeah, I reckon like, in all the breaks I get, so say when I'm like walking to work or catching a tram or like, on my way to the gym, on the way home from the gym, like I get a lot of time just like traveling and shit. And then as well, like when I get home at night, I might be cooking, cleaning, whatever, washing, the usual stuff. And then, I can do immersion through that with just podcasts and things. And then, maybe every day before I go to sleep, I can watch an hour, 30 minutes of like YouTube and just properly sit there like, and watch the shit. And so that's, probably the best thing, because you're like only doing that one thing. But as well, I've talked about this before, but I really feel like, it's a bit of a cop-out at the same time saying this, but like, if you're a real beginner in the language, you can like, it's a lot more difficult to sit down and like just actively watch something because you don't understand anything. It's like, it's the most boring fucking thing you can ever do. Like I remember my brother learned Russian and he sat there as a day one beginner, no experience, and couldn't understand a word, and sat there for like 4 hours a day fucking like actively watching YouTube. Like I can't imagine how shit that would have been. But hey, he got very good in Russian in like 6-7 months. So it works if you can really push through it. But yeah, I think it'd be good for me to just be doing 30 minutes, an hour, right before bed, or actively sitting down watching it. And if I do that, I feel like most likely I won't have to change my schedule at all and be able to still fit in, like actively learning Korean. And I think I could be able to learn it to a reasonably high level as, modest goals. Like, I'm not going to be like fluent in Korean in 3 months or some bullshit like that. Although I might call the video that, we'll see. But yeah, I reckon I'll be able to get to a reasonably decent level in 3 months compared to other people who are going to be learning the language like a normal way, textbooks, bullshit like that, yeah? But also one other thing I forgot to mention is that I was thinking to myself when I was thinking of doing this challenge or, whatever you want to call it, one thing that like I feel like really got me places in my Japanese is the constant attempt to output. Like, I think I've talked about that before. People say, oh, don't early output, you're going to ruin your accent, and like all this bullshit. But I've long talked about that. I don't think, really does anything if you output early. I feel like it's a benefit more than anything, honestly. But, I won't go into that too much. I don't want to like go on some big tangent. You can watch my other videos on that if you're curious about my thoughts on that. But no, yeah, I reckon that honestly, like outputting and like going on HelloTalk and trying to talk to people as much as possible gave me such a big advantage in my language learning, because like, it's like the most comprehensible input you can get, right? Like people always talk about you need comprehensible input because you understand it. You understand how the language sounds, how it works, what words to use, and you do, output the same shit, right? And then if you understand it and you're actually comprehending it, you can pick it up in other scenarios, stuff like that. That's, real basic explanation of comprehensible input and why it's important. But like, if you're listening, you're talking to people, they're going to keep repeating the same shit and like dumbing it down for you until you understand it. And then you have to string together some, shitty sentence and respond to them. But like, if you do that repetitively for, a few hours a week minimum, like I was doing it a few hours a day for a long time, but so you do a few hours a week minimum. Maybe if I do that as well on HelloTalk with Korean, it could give me a big boost in my comprehension and my, outputting abilities. So we'll see. I thought of like outputting in this video and then being able to compare it to like 3 months later, but like I'm so incapable to output anything at the moment because I don't know fucking any words. I don't know if there's any point of me even trying. Like, I don't know, maybe in the next video, the one after, when I start speaking to people and practicing a bit, that's when I'll output, and then we can compare it to 3 months later. But yeah, the current thoughts at the moment is to do this for 3 months, just see how good I can get, and maybe I'll continue it after that, or maybe I'll do another language for 3 months. Maybe you guys can suggest another language I can do for 3 months. Give me some, like, we'll do like Arabic, something like that. Something I've got zero, like, basis in, because like, if say I get really fucking good in Korean in 3 months or something, a lot of people can be like, oh, well, you speak Japanese already, so that's why you can get good. Your methods are bullshit. It's just you fucking speak Japanese. Like, I expect a lot of comments like that if I am actually successful with this. So in that case, I'll let people suggest, if that does happen, I'll let people suggest what language I should do next for 3 months, and we'll see how that goes. Obviously, it will be more difficult, but I'd still be curious to see how it goes. For me, it's not just like making videos to sort of advertise myself on my channel and stuff. Of course, that's a component, honestly. Like, I love to put out some videos, get some more views and that. But like, it's interesting for me to like kind of just see how well these methods work, and if I actually can learn Korean very quickly using these methods. Like, I'm very curious to see. So it kind of works as like a little personal diary for myself too, to kind of look back on and see how far I can kind of go with it in a few months. So if you want to see over the next 3 months how I go with this challenge, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And as well as if you want to like actually like talk to me and shit like that, I've got a Discord. I'll put the link in the description. We got almost 1,000 members. Let's get it over 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. I really like to boost that up because I've been pretty inactive on the Discord the last few months. So let's get that back on, get that ball rolling again. But yeah, I'll put the link to the Discord in the description, especially for those of you learning Japanese. There's a huge amount of resources there. Like, to the point where like, if I ever need resources now for Japanese, like say I'm trying to help someone to like learn or like help them out with their Anki or whatever like that, I go to my own Discord and look at the resource sheet, who no one knows who made that resource sheet. It's a mystery. But like, yeah, you go to the resource sheet and I'll go there and just like, there's so much information there. It's really worth it. So if you're interested in that, jump in the Discord, guys. But otherwise, I'll see you in like a week or two, and I'll give a bit of a progress report on how I've been going with the Korean. Thanks, guys.